I must confess to everybody, I watched this interview, this press conference prior to on here, man. I promise. It was only 2 minutes and 21 seconds long. So I figured I might as well watch the whole thing to see if there's anything interesting rather than just doing it live. But I watched this thing live. I watched this thing already, man. And Stephanie White blamed Caitlin Clark for the loss. Like, you can pussyfoot around all of it. She blamed Caitlin Clark for the loss today, a 113.96 ass whooping. She blamed Caitlin Clark for the loss. And she didn't say Caitlin Clark's name, but you can read between the lines. You can hear what she had to say, and you can hear what she said, and blame Caitlin Clark for the loss. Her player who had 26.7 rebounds, she blamed the turnovers for the loss, not the defense. The turnovers. The turnovers will lost. The turnovers lost this game. The seven Caitlin Clark turnovers are apparently why they scored 113 points. I am not absolving Caitlin Clark's turnover bug by no means. I've already gone on about it in the live that I did. I went on it in my other video. But you're not going to sit here and blame one person, basically, for why you lost this game. Because this game got lost. It did largely get lost in the third quarter when Caitlin Clark had her little turnover yips. But what about the other 37 minutes of the game, 36 minutes of the game? When you couldn't guard anybody? What about the inability to block Angel Reese out? What about not running a pick and roll offense against this team? What about Kelsey Mitchell's disappearing act in the second half? What about Lexi Hull, who doesn't even deserve to wear a basketball jersey anymore with how bad she looks game by game by game? What about the fact this team is so undersized that it gets physically punked by just about everybody with any size at all? End of the day, Kevin Clark at one point was 8 of 10 for 19 points and was 3 of 4 from three. And, she did have only 2 turnovers at halftime. She had 4 assists at the half, finishes with 7 assists and 7 turnovers as well. And I know people are going to ignore the fact that, she had, they're going to ignore everything else. They're going to focus on the 7 turnovers. And rightfully so. You can focus on those turnovers. And they did matter in this game. And I did call it out. But to sit here and basically put it on Caitlin Clark. It's just it's par for the course of Stephanie White. Just to give y'all a little background of that particular quarter. The first turnover was a Maisha Hines Allen bad pass that gave a layup to Angel Reese. Then Caitlin Clark had a dead ball turnover. They ended up scoring on it. So you didn't defend in half court. Turnovers matter, but turnovers in motion, I keep saying, turnovers that create fast breaks are worse than turnovers that go out of bounds because you still can set your defense up. I've always said that, and everyone knows that. Anyone who knows anything about basketball will say, much rather you turn the ball over out of bounds on a dead ball than turn over into a fast break. So that was the first one was a Hines Allen turnover. Then Caitlin turns the ball over. Then Caitlin has another out of bounds turnover, and Timpson ends up blocking the Angel Reese shot. There's going to be a shot clock, so they get the ball back. So that turnover didn't hurt them. But then uh, you had Kelsey Mitchell had her shot blocked. That creates a fast break. Alicia Gray gets a layup. Hines Allen misses a jumper. They miss a layup. Reese gets the offensive board. Bucket 70-60. So realistically, in that stretch, you also had a missed 20-footer, a missed 11-footer. You had missed shots that also happened from the Fever. And then you had a Sophie Cunningham missed three, creates long rebounds. Angel Reese misses a three. Caitlin Clark has another turnover. Ball goes out of bounds. And again, dead ball. Ryan Howard, after the dead ball, hits a three, and it's 73-65. So, yes, she did have 3 turnovers during that stretch of basketball, and that's unacceptable. But they also had a bunch of missed shots, and Hines Allen had the first turnover of that crew. So we all know where that blame is being put. So let's take a listen to what Stephanie White had to say. Again, I don't absolve it at all. And then you hear in the press conference, the first person to blame herself is Caitlin Clark. It's very interesting how Stephanie White is so good at blaming everybody else, but never looks in the mirror. 113 points, Stephanie White. I think the Dream just scored a franchise record against y'all. 2 days after scoring 108 points on y'all. Like, when are you going to look in the mirror at your failure as a coach? But let's listen right here.
I think it started with our turnovers. And we had 9 turnovers. They had 11 points off of those turnovers. It's hard for us to recover when they get those direct points, and there's no transition defense for those kinds of turnovers. And it gave them a little momentum, and it gave them a boost.
You said before the game started that you're either active or we are anticipating. Which one of those things do you think you do better?
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you heard her. First question. Turnovers. No, it wasn't your bad defense. It was the turnovers. You gave up 56 points at halftime. You gave up 57 in the second half. This wasn't about those 3 turnovers or the turnovers in that little stretch. You turned the ball over fine. You had given up 56 in the first half when you didn't turn the ball over. This is not a situation of turnovers lost you the game. Does it contribute to the game? Yeah. Your inability to rebound contributes. Your inability to guard on ball contributes. I watched Kelsey Mitchell get blown by twice in the third or fourth quarter where she just let Jordan Canada go right by her. Today wasn't a Caitlin Clark defensive issue. Caitlin Clark was not bad on defense today. She bent her knees. She got into it. I thought she did a pretty decent job on the on-ball defense. Atlanta did not attack her in ISO ball most of the game, to be quite frank. They did everything else. They hit a bunch of threes. They attacked everybody else. They went after everybody. They had Aaliyah Boston in foul trouble. Angel Reese cooked again in the second half. And this lady doesn't make any adjustments. This lady doesn't challenge a fifth foul called on Aaliyah Boston when you're gonna have her sit on the bench for a number of minutes as it is if you don't challenge this. And it was a challengeable one because they had just had a similar play the other direction from Atlanta, and they reversed it. And I thought there was more contact on that than there was on the Aaliyah Boston play. Like, there's an inconsistency in officiating, which is what's frustrating. It's not about the calls. It's about the inconsistency of the calls. Because right then and there, Aaliyah Boston, yeah, she tapped Naz Hillman. On the play before, she had Naz Hillman hooking her entire arm going to the rim. They now have made up a new term, marginal contact. This is the newest term now. There's marginal contact. I heard a marginal contact comment on a player being hit on the arm. There's not marginal contact when you get hit on the arm. You're shooting with the damn arm. If your arm gets hit, it's not marginal. It's a foul that should be called. And they reversed it, in fact. It's ridiculous. It's unacceptable, man. So here we are, and this is what she blames. She doesn't, there's only 2 minutes of this shit, by the way. Only 2 minutes of this. Let's listen to the rest of her 2 minutes.
I think it's streamlined. It's 3 A's for a reason. I think I felt like, it was a lot of shot making in the first half, and I thought we did some really good things. I think when they went on that run in the third, we became a little disconnected, and so we weren't as active, we weren't as aware, we weren't anticipating as much, and we just got to find ways to regroup.
There was a lot of shot making in the first quarter, not after the first quarter. There was a lot of shot making in the first quarter only. After the first quarter, she turned off the offense with Caitlin Clark. She wanted to run everything through Kelsey Mitchell. She wanted Kelsey Mitchell to score her points. Kelsey Mitchell ends up having 16 at halftime and doesn't score another bucket the rest of the game after halftime. Caitlin Clark has 15 at halftime despite having 13 in the first quarter. You changed the offense. You went away from Caitlin Clark as usual. And now it's trying to figure out, get my groove back, get my heat back. But it's hard to get heat back when you took me out the game, when you're taking me out of the game pretty much. They were disconnected in the third because you had changed the game again. You screwed it up. You had 37 end of one. You had 59 at halftime. That's not first half bucket making. You shot 80+% in the first half, first quarter. You were shooting 62% at halftime, only up by 3. This is a defensive issue. This is a defensive issue.
Caitlin, you had a really strong first half. What did you see in that?
I'm sorry. And all that scoring does for this team is it shields and it hides how bad they are on defense, which is her fault. She's the coach. Figure out a defensive scheme that can work for this team. If you can't, then you don't deserve this job.
Third period, maybe defensively that changed, and maybe you had to make some adjustments.
Yeah, I think just got to take care of the ball better, and that starts with me. So,
of course, accountability starts with me. Nobody else does that except for her. Starts with me. Starts with me. While her coach is throwing her under the bus in the first question.
Just focusing on that, and then You know, what we did well in the first half was play in transition, spray, find open people. And then it's really hard to do that when all we do is foul and they score. Like, we didn't play in transition at all in the second half because of that.
Caitlin, I got one message for you, though. You can't keep every game saying it starts with me. You got to start at some point doing it and fixing it. That's my only message to you. Start fixing it. Because it can't every game be, it starts with me. Yes, we know it starts with you. When you're turning the ball over, it starts with you. You have to fix it. You have to not try to make the hero play. 3 of those turnovers in the second half were hero play attempts. They were the down the court passes that were stolen, stopped one way or the other. You got to stop those. Those are not going to work. Those don't work. They work occasionally. They look great on they look great on film. But if I get one completed after every 4 and the other 3 are turnovers, well, it kind of defeats what it is. You got to make the pass when it's there and not try to force it. And that's my message. That's a maturing thing in the game. You have to hold back from being who you are to keep the game flowing. Because when you turn the block over, like it happened in a bunch. It wasn't, again, if you go 2-2-2-2-1, 2-2-2-1, per quarter, it's different than if you go 3-4 in a quarter. She had 5 in this quarter, in the third. It can kill an entire quarter. So it did have an impact. But again, you're also not rebounding. So as a team, you got to rebound as a team.
Stephanie, the last couple games, your stars have been in some foul trouble. Is that something you feel, is there something being done that's correctable, or is that just how it's being called?
I mean, I think a little both. Obviously, there's been an emphasis to call a lot of fouls. Freedom of movement's been an emphasis. We've seen foul calls go up altogether. I think individually, certainly there are some things that we can do to keep ourselves from being as vulnerable, and collectively there are some things that we can do to have each other's backs so where we're not in those positions. So it's a combination of things.
Okay, and then I was going to say, how has that changed how you kind of scheme defensively, with it being called that way?
Yeah, I mean, there are only so many schemes you can do. So I think for us, it's just being more intentional and having a higher discipline level when we're in those moments. A lot of our fouls are coming because we're not taking care of the point, and then we're getting it in rotation, or we're behind plays, or we're late, and that's where a lot of our fouls are coming from.
That's the entire press conference, folks. That's the entire press conference right there. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. That's all you got. You got that much, nothing more. And you just lost for the second straight time. You've just given up 100+ points 2 games in a row. Nobody asks her about the not challenging the 5th foul on Aaliyah Boston, which was a must challenge. It's out of control, man. She has no answers for anything. Not many schemes you can play. What are you talking about? You're the coach. I'm sorry. I refuse to believe that any team is just this bad on defense. I refuse to believe that any team is just this damn bad on defense. But right now, that's what they look. They look like the worst defensive team I've ever seen in women's basketball. In the WNBA, for sure. They are so bad on defense. And she has no answers to the questions. Let's just keep blaming Caitlin Clark because she turned the ball over. Let's keep blaming Caitlin Clark was over 26. Let's blame. It's Caitlin Clark's fault. Got to be. It's always her fault. It's always her fault. I've never heard Stephanie White own anything and say, I got to fix this. Never. But hey, y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Hype the video. I appreciate y'all. As always, Indiana Fever Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.